Good morning, all of you. Today, in this class, we'll learn demagnetizing and cross magnetizing conductors. So, before going to that, we will once again repeat what is armature reaction and methods to reduce the armature reaction. Generally, in DC generator, the purpose of field winding is to produce the magnetic field called the main flux, whereas the purpose of armature winding is to carry armature current. The armature winding is not provided for the purpose of producing a magnetic field. Otherwise, the current in the armature winding will also produce magnetic flux called the armature flux. The armature flux distorts and weakens the main flux, posing problems for the proper operation of the DC generator. The action of armature flux on the main flux is called the armature reaction. Next, we have two cases when the generator is on no load and when generator is loaded. When generator is on no load, a small current flowing in the armature does not appreciably affect the main flux coming from the pole. When the generator is loaded, the current flowing through the armature conductor set up flux. Flux due to armature current next one, how these affects the main flux is distorted. Like that, we have seen in the last classes. That is, with no current in armature conductors, the magnetic neutral axis coincides with the geometrical neutral axis. However, when current flows in armature conductors, the combined action of main flux and armature flux shifts the MNA from GNA. In case of generators, the MNA is shifted in the direction of rotation of the machine. In order to achieve the sparkless commutation, the pressures have to be moved along the new MNA. Under such a condition, the armature reaction produces the two effects. One is demagnetizes or weakens the main flux. Second one, it cross magnetizes or distorts the main flux. And we have seen in the diagrams how this distortion happens. Okay. And in the previous class also we have seen the flux due to main poles when the armature conductors carry no current. The flux across the air gap is uniform, and the MMF producing the main flux is represented in magnitude and direction by the phasor diagram, like that. And next case is the armature conductors. When they are carrying current, the armature conductors to the left of GNA carry current in cross, and those to the right carry out, that is dot. The direction of magnetic lines of force can be found by a corkscrew rule, and the armature flux is directed downward parallel to the brush axis. And next one, the interaction of these two, that is the flux due to the main poles and due to the current in armature conductors acting together, the resultant MMF, the vector sum is also given. Since MNE is always perpendicular to the resultant MMF, the MNE is shifted through an angle, and MNE is shifted in the direction of rotation of the generator. Okay. And in order to achieve a sparkless commutation, the brushes must lie along the magnetic neutral axis, and the brushes are shifted through an angle so as to lie along the new MNA. And next, due to brush shift, the MMF, the armature is also rotated through the same angle. It is because some of the conductors which were earlier under north pole now come under south pole, and vice versa. The result, because of this, the result is that the armature MMF will no longer be vertically downward, but will be rotated in the direction of rotation through an angle. So, and next one, this is about the armature reaction. And with brushes located along geometrical neutral axis, there is no demagnetizing component of armature reaction. There is only a distorting or cross magnetizing effect of armature reaction. And next one, with the brushes shifted from GNA, armature reaction will have both demagnetizing and distorting effects. Their relative magnitudes depend on the amount of shift. This shift is directly proportional to the armature current. Next one, the demagnetizing component of armature reaction weakens the main flux. On the other hand, the distorting component of armature reaction distorts the main flux. That is, the demagnetizing component of armature reaction weakens the main flux. On the other hand, the distorting component of armature reaction distorts the main flux. Next one, the demagnetizing effect leads to reduced generated voltage, while cross magnetizing effect leads to the sparking at the brushes. Okay, these are the two effects, that is demagnetizing and cross magnetizing effects in the armature reaction. Now coming to demagnetizing and cross magnetizing conductors, the exact conductors which produce these distorting and demagnetizing effects are shown in figure. We will see where the brush axis has been given a forward lead to lead of Q, so as to lie along the new position of MNE. So here we can observe in the diagram, observe clearly the north and south poles. With the brushes in the GNA position, there is only cross magnetizing effect of armature reaction. However, when the brushes are shifted from GNA position, the armature reaction will have both demagnetizing and cross magnetizing effects. Now consider a two-pole generator with the brushes shifted theta. Brush shift we can observe here. Two-pole generator with the brushes shifted theta mechanical degrees from GNA. We can identify the armature conductors that produce demagnetizing effect and those that produce cross magnetizing effect. Next one, observe clearly in the diagram, the armature conductors on either side of GNA produce flux in direct opposition to main flux. The first diagram, I am repeating this one. The armature conductors, here you can observe theta, on either side of GNA produce flux in direct opposition to the main flux. Okay. Thus the conductors are lying within the angles. Here we can observe AOC is equal to BOD is equal to 2Q. Here we can call the shift in the that is the angle, we can call it as Q, or sometimes we can call it as a theta or theta m. The notations are different, but we can call it as the shift in the angle. So AOC is equal to BOD is equal to 2Q. AOC is equal to BOD is equal to 2Q or 2 theta. In the diagram we can see here 2 theta. At the top and bottom of the armature produce demagnetizing effect. These are called demagnetizing armature conductors and constitute the demagnetizing ampere turns of the armature reaction. Here we have to remember that Two conductors constitute a turn. Here we have to remember the two conductors they'll form a turn. Okay, the armature conductors on either side of GNA produce flux in direct opposition to the main flux. The conductors lying within angles AOC is equal to BOD is equal to 2Q at the top and bottom of the armature produce demagnetizing effect. These are called demagnetizing ampere conductors and constitute the demagnetizing ampere turns of armature reaction. Okay, next one, the axis of magnetization of the remaining armature conductors lying between angles AOD and COB is at right angles to the main flux. In the second diagram we can observe the axis of magnetization of the remaining armature conductors lying between angles AOD and COB is at right angles to the main flux. These conductors produce the cross magnetizing, or you can call it as a distorting effect. That is, they produce uneven flux distribution on each pole. Okay, these conductors they will produce the cross magnetizing or distorting effect. That is, they produce uneven flux distribution on each pole. Therefore, these are called cross magnetizing conductors, and the cross magnetizing ampere turns of armature reaction. So in both the diagrams we can from these diagrams we can observe the armature conductors on either side of GNA produce flux in direct opposition to main flux. And next one, next AOC is equal to BOD is equal to 2Q at the top and bottom of the armature, and they will produce the demagnetizing effect. So these are called demagnetizing ampere conductors, and they constitute the demagnetizing ampere turns of armature reaction. In the second diagram, the axis of magnetization of the remaining armature conductors remaining armature conductors lying between angles AOD and BOC. Second diagram we can observe is at right angles to the main flux. These conductors produce the cross magnetizing effect. That is, they produce uneven flux distribution on each pole. Therefore, they are called cross magnetizing conductors and constitute the cross magnetizing ampere turns of this armature reaction. Okay, this only here we given. Now consider the remaining armature conductors lying between angles AOD and COB. These conductors carry current in such a direction as to produce a combined flux pointing vertically downwards, that is at right angles to the main flux. This results in distortion of the main field. Hence, these conductors are known as cross magnetizing conductors and constitute distorting ampere conductors. Next, demagnetizing ampere turns per pole. Now we will derive the derivation for how to calculate these demagnetizing ampere turns per pole, ATD per pole we can call it as. It is desirable to neutralize the demagnetizing ampere turns of armature reaction. This is achieved by adding some extra ampere turns to the main field winding. Next, how we shall now calculate the demagnetizing ampere turns per pole. We have to calculate the demagnetizing ampere turns per pole. that is, it is necessary to neutralize the demagnetizing ampere turns of armature reaction, and this is achieved by adding some extra ampere turns to the main field winding. Now let us move to, since armature it is essential to calculate their number, but before proceeding further, it should be remembered that the number of turns is equal to the number of conductors is equal to half the number of conductors, because as we know, two conductors constitute one turn. Remember that one. So now let us move to the calculation of demagnetizing ampere turns per pole. As we know, Z is equal to total number of armature conductors. I is equal to current in each armature conductor, which is equal to Ia by 2 for simplex wave winding and Ia by P for simplex lap winding. So because A is equal to 2 for simplex wave winding and A is equal to P for simplex lap winding. And next, this theta m is representing forward lead in mechanical or geometrical or angular degrees. Okay, theta m, forward lead, that is the change in the angle in mechanical or geometrical or angular degrees. Now from the diagram, total number of armature conductors in angles AOC and BOD is 4 theta m by 360 into Z. Because two conductors constitute one turn, so 2 into 2 theta m by 360 into Z, so that we will get 4 theta m by 360 into Z. Next, total number of turns in these angles, so that 2 theta m by 360 into Zi. Next one, demagnetizing ampere turns per pole, which is nothing but 2 theta m by 360 into Zi. So this becomes demagnetizing ampere turns pole, that is theta m by 360 into Zi. Now see, these since two conductors constitute one turn, so total demagnetizing ampere turns is equal to 1 by 2 into 4 theta m by 360 into Z, so that we will get 2 theta m by 360 into Zi. These demagnetizing ampere turns are due to pair of poles, so that whole divided by 2, so that demagnetizing ampere turns per pole is equal to theta m by 2 gets cancelled, and 3 theta m by 360 into Zi. Now the demagnetizing ampere turns of armature reaction can be neutralized by adding some extra turns on each pole of the generator. So a number of extra turns per pole, that is equal to ATD, that is theta m by 360 into Zi divided by ISH for shunt generator, and ATD, that is ampere turns per pole for demagnetizing effect, divided by IA for series generator. Okay, so remember this one. Finally, demagnetizing ampere turns per pole is equal to theta m by 360 into Zi. So number of extra turns per pole, how we get means ATD divided by ISH for a shunt generator, and for series generator ATD divided by IA. Okay, like that we have to calculate the demagnetizing ampere turns per pole. Okay, next let us move to cross magnetizing ampere turns per pole. Okay, the conductors lying between angles AOD and BOC constitute distorting or cross magnetizing conductors, These we can find out by using we can calculate the cross magnetizing ampere turns per pole, that is demagnetizing conductors per pole is equal to Z into 2 theta m by 360. And now cross magnetizing conductors per pole equal to Z by P minus Z into 2 theta m by 360. So if we common the term Z, that is 1 by P minus 2 theta m by 360. And now cross magnetizing ampere conductors per pole is equal to Zi into 1 by P minus 2 theta m by 360. And now cross magnetizing ampere turns per pole is equal to Zi by if we common the term 2, Zi into 1 by 2P minus theta m by 360. And here also remember the note is the two conductors make one turn. Now ampere turns, cross magnetizing ampere turns per pole is equal to Zi into 1 by 2P minus theta m by 360. First we have written the demagnetizing conductors per pole. Next one, first let us see the total armature reaction ampere turns per pole is equal to two conductors make one turn, so Z by 2 by P into I, so Z by 2P into I will get. And next one, cross magnetizing conductors per pole is equal to Z by P minus Z into 2 theta m by 360. If we common the term Z, that is 1 by P minus 2 theta m by 360. Next one, cross magnetizing ampere conductors per pole, simply multiply with current. Now cross magnetizing ampere turns per pole, two conductors make one turn, so that Zi into 1 by 2P minus theta m by 360. So this is the formula for cross magnetizing ampere turns per pole. So Zi into 1 by 2P minus theta m by 360, as demagnetizing ampere turns per pole is equal to theta m by 360 into Zi. Okay. Next, let us move to the cross magnetizing, compensating winding. The cross magnetizing effect of the armature reaction may cause trouble in DC machines subjected to large fluctuations in load, that is rolling mill motors and turbo generators, etc. The compensating windings function is to neutralize the cross magnetizing effect of armature reaction. So in the absence of compensating windings, the flux will be suddenly shifting backward and forward with every change in load. This shifting of flux will induce statically induced EMF in the armature coils. Okay. The cross magnetizing effect of armature reaction may cause trouble in DC machines, that is very large fluctuations in load. In order to neutralize the cross magnetizing effect of armature reaction, a compensating winding is used. A compensating winding is an auxiliary winding embedded in slots in the pole faces. We can see in the diagram. A compensating winding is an auxiliary winding embedded in slots in the pole faces. It is connected in series with armature in such a way that the direction of current through this compensating conductors in any one pole phase will be opposite to the direction of opposite to the direction of the current through the adjacent armature conductors. So how we will connect the compensating winding? It is connected in series with the armature in such a that the direction of current through the compensating conductors in any one pole phase will be opposite to the direction of current through the adjacent armature conductors. Okay, so in this way we will connect the compensating winding. The magnitude of this EMF will depend upon the rapidly of changes in load and the amount of change. It may be so high as to strike an arc between the consecutive commutator segments across the top of mica sheets separating them. This may again develop a flashover around the whole commutator, thereby short circuiting the whole armature. So because of this, the function is to neutralize the cross magnetizing effect of armature reaction. In the absence of winding, because of this, we will get a statically induced EMF. So the magnitude of this EMF induced EMF will depend upon the changing in the load conditions and the amount of change. Okay, so these are the effects of compensating winding, and how we will connect this one we have seen already. These windings are embedded in slots in the pole shoes and are connected in series with the armature in such a way that the current in them flows in opposite direction to that flowing in armature conductors directly below the pole shoes. An elementary scheme of compensating winding is shown in the above figure. That is, in this way, that is, the windings are embedded in slots in the pole shoes and are connected in series with the armature such that the current in them flow in opposite direction to the flowing in armature conductors, that is directly below the pole shoes. Okay, it should be carefully noted one more thing, that the compensating winding must provide the sufficient MMF so as to counterbalance the armature MMF. And by considering the cost and the room taken up by them, the compensating windings are used in case of large machines which are subjected to violent fluctuations in load, and also for generators which have to deliver their full load output at a considerable low induced voltage in case of Wadley not set like that, so that depending upon these are somewhat costly, and so the compensating windings are used in case of large machines which are having more that is very high fluctuations in load, and for generators which have to deliver their full load output at considerable low induced voltage, that is in case of Wadley not set like that, we will use this one. Now by using the compensating winding, the number of armature conductors per pole is equal to Z by P, and the number of armature turn per pole, that is 2 conductors, it will make a 1 turn, so armature turn per pole is equal Z by 2P. Now number of armature turns immediately under one pole equal to we can Z by 2P into pole arc by pole pitch. This is the number of armature conductors per pole equal to Z by P, and number of armature turns per pole is equal to Z by 2P. So pole arc by pole pitch, armature ampere turns per pole into pole arc by pole pitch. So this is how we will calculate the compensating winding ampere turns per pole for compensating winding. So So this is about what is armature reaction, what are the effects of armature reaction, and how we will reduce the armature reaction, that is the effects are demagnetizing and cross magnetizing effects, and how we will reduce the this armature reaction is by means of interpoles, compensating winding, like that. And next one, we have calculated the armature turns per pole, demagnetizing ampere turns pole, and cross magnetizing ampere turns pole, turns per pole, and compensate for establishing the compensating winding. We have again calculated what ampere turns per pole for compensating winding. So now let us see some problems, discuss some problems on this armature reaction. First problem is, a 4-pole generator has a wave wound armature with 722 conductors and it delivers 100 amperes on full load. If the brush lead is 8 degrees, calculate the armature demagnetizing and cross magnetizing ampere turns per pole. Very simple problem here. It is given, that is 4-pole generator is given and it is a wave wound armature and number of conductors are 722 and it is delivering 100 amperes on full load. So the brush lead is given as 8 degrees. Now we have to calculate the demagnetizing and cross magnetizing ampere turns. So now I equal to Ia by 2, so that 100 by 2 will get 50 amperes, Z equal to 722 and theta m is equal to 8 degrees. Now the demagnetizing ampere turns per pole formula is Zi into theta m by 360, where Z is equal to 722, I is equal to 50 and theta m brush lead is given as 8 degrees. So 722 into 50 into 8 by 360, that is 802. And next one, we know the formula for cross magnetizing ampere turns per pole, which is equal to Z into 1 by 2p minus theta m by 360. So Z is 722, I is 50 and 1 by 2 into number of poles are 4 minus brush lead is 8 divided by 360. So that we will get 3718. So this is ampere demagnetizing ampere turns per pole and cross magnetizing ampere turns per pole. Okay, next one, this is also similar one. An 8-pole generator has an output of 200 amperes at 500 volts. The lap connected armature has 1280 conductors, 160 commutator segments. If the brushes are advanced 4 segments from the no load neutral axis, estimate the armature demagnetizing and cross magnetizing ampere turns per pole. If we know the terminology of these machines, we can easily notice that what is the given data. So here 8-pole generator is given, that is number of poles are P is equal to 8. Output is given as 200 amperes at 500 volts and it is a lap wound. Okay, and number of conductors Z equal to 1280 and commutator segments are given as 160. Okay, if the brushes are advanced 4 segments, it is not directly given the brush lead, so we have to calculate the brush lead. Theta m equal to brush advanced 4 segments, so 4 into 360 by 160, so total angle is 360, so 4 into 360 by 160, so that 9 degrees brush lead we can calculate from this one. And I is equal to number of poles are 8, so 200 by 8, so that 25 amperes we will get. Demagnetizing ampere turns per pole formula is Z into theta m by 360. So Z is 1280 into I is 25 amperes into theta m is 9 degrees divided by 360. Similarly, cross magnetizing ampere turns per pole is equal to Z into 1 by 2p minus theta m by 360. So that If you calculate, we will get 1200. Okay, so next one, a 4-pole wave wound motor armature has 880 conductors and delivers 120 amperes. So the brushes have been displaced through 3 angular degrees from the geometrical axis. Calculate the demagnetizing ampere turns per pole, cross magnetizing ampere turns per pole, the additional field current for neutralizing the demagnetization of the field winding has 1100 turns per pole. So here number of poles are 4. Wave wound motor here it is given, and conductors are 880, and it is delivering 120 amperes, and it is displaced through 3 angular degrees, and we have to calculate the demagnetizing ampere turns and cross magnetizing ampere turns. So Z is equal to 880, I is equal to 120 by 260 amperes, and theta 3 degrees. So if we substitute demagnetizing ampere turns per pole formula in formula, we will get and cross magnetizing ampere turns we will get. Now the third way, total ampere turns per pole we will get. Next, third one is the additional field current for neutralizing the demagnetization of the field winding. That is 440 by 1100. So that 0.4 amperes we will get. Additional field current we need for neutralizing the demagnetization of the field winding has 1100 turns per pole. So demagnetizing ampere turns are given as 4, that is we calculated as 440. So that this is 0.4 amperes, 440 by 1100. So 0.4 amperes we will get. The next problem we will see, a 4-pole lap wound generator having 480 armature conductors supplies a current of 150 amperes. If the brushes are given an actual lead of 10 degrees, calculate the demagnetizing and cross magnetizing ampere turns per pole. So 10 degrees, here it is given as actually 10 degrees. Mechanical shift is equal to 20 degrees electrical shift for a 4-pole machine. That is, here it is, if the brushes are given an actual lead of 10 degrees, we have to calculate the demagnetizing and cross magnetizing ampere turns. So 10 degrees mechanical shift, from the formula we have the mechanical degrees and electrical degrees formulas we have, so that we will get 10 degrees mechanical shift is equal to 20 degrees electrical shift for 4-pole machine, and armature current is 150 amperes. For 4-pole lap wound armature, number of parallel paths equal to 4, and conductor current is equal to 150 by 4, so that we will get 37.5 amperes. Now we can calculate total armature ampere turns per pole. We can calculate next one, cross magnetizing and demagnetizing ampere turns per pole we can calculate. This is how we will calculate the cross magnetizing and demagnetizing ampere turns per pole for the given data. Okay, now we will see